full to bursting for such a anticipated event. They are calling it the dream final. Brazil's progress to this point has been pretty serene. They've not so much as fallen behind, though that tight semi-final against Uruguay did include Julio Cesar's pivotal penalty save. Prior to that, eventual semi-finalists Italy were the first to score against them after two pretty routine wins against Japan and Mexico. For Spain, the group stage, once they had shrugged off the stubborn Uruguayans, was a stroll. The last time they were here in Rio, they hit 10 against Tahiti, since when they have brushed aside Nigeria before their sternest test by far against Italy in the semi, not decided before the end of 2 hours football and 14 penalties. And there are the world champions. For the Spanish minority in the Maracanã, just another staging post on their golden generation journey. But it is easy to lose sight of the fact that for the eternally bright, shiny people of Brazil and the world that revels in their love of the game, this is still just the warm-up event. It is no surprise that they have embraced the Confederation Cup with such zeal and warmth, nor indeed that at a time of national difficulty they have clung to it, taken pride in it and found togetherness through it. Sport largely via him, and what a leader of man he is. Sport is a great healer, but football's medicine works best in Brazil. Brazil, 5 wins in a row, 10 games unbeaten, building towards their World Cup, uniting a nation through sport, and tonight seeking to defend their Confederations Cup on their territory. Brazil have not lost a competitive game at home since 1975. They have not lost in the Maracanã since 1957. In purely footballing terms, next year will matter much more. But more broadly, this has mattered plenty. Well, if these are the flags being carried out on this ground on Sunday, July the 13th, 2014, no one will be too surprised, and few neutrals will be complaining. You would struggle to think up a tastier World Cup final, and it will certainly do for now. Yellow once more by a ratio of maybe 99-1 is the preeminent colour. Apart from everything else that surrounds the Confederations Cup, it has made the Brazilian people realise that they have a team in which they are entitled to believe. But since Spain became champions of Europe for the first time in the modern era 5 years ago, they have seen their boys take on and pass almost every major test the world game offers. Not yet this one. Brazil remain to be conquered, and Spain have never beaten Brazil in Brazil. It is the box office final. Planet Football fancied Brazil versus Spain, and we've got it. A final fit for the Maracanã. Mutual respect. Two of the great brains of global football. Neymar has two of the great feet of global football. the anthems in themselves will be an event.
Please stand for the national anthem of Spain. Senhoras e senhores, por favor, levante-se para o hino da Espanha. And now, the national anthem of Brazil. E agora, o hino nacional do Brasil.
Absolutely staggering. Well, like a precious gem or a grand work of art, this fixture's value is increased by its rarity. It is the first time for 14 years that Brazil and Spain have shaken hands at a full international. They have only met 8 times before, ever. There's rarely a surprise in the Brazilian side these days. Only 12 of their 23-man squad have started a game at this competition. 6 of them haven't played at all. It is fixed. The same side as the semi-final. Julio Cesar is the only one of these who began the final for Dunga 4 years ago in Johannesburg. Dani Alves came on in that game. Alves and Marcelo, of course, represent respectively the 2 great Spanish clubs, Barcelona and Real Madrid. We have a European referee. 40-year-old Dutchman Bjorn Kuipers made a very good impression at Euro 2012 in Poland and Ukraine last year. He recently ended his club season with the Benfica-Chelsea Europa League final, and here he was in charge of Nigeria against Uruguay in Salvador 10 days ago. By way of contrast to Brazil, Spain have spread the load through their squad. Everyone has played a part, so that although they've had a day less to recover, there aren't quite so many miles on each individual clock. Only Sergio Ramos has started every game. By comparison with the semi-final, Juan Mata starts in place of David Silva. The workload may be shared, but Del Bosque still knows who his must-picks are. 7 of those started the World Cup final 3 years ago. The 9th Confederations Cup final. Brazil for a third time running, or Spain for a first time ever. The Maracanã, where football's heart beats. The greatest nation in the history of the global game against the greatest team of its current era. Brazil versus Spain for the 2013 Confederations Cup. Right now in world football, it is the ultimate game. Marcelo of Real Madrid. Oscar with Piqué at his back. Neymar, who has so decorated the whole of the competition. And he goes over Busquets and receives little sympathy. First touch for Pedro, aimed up at Torres, who kept it from his clubmate Luis. Pedro at the back of Thiago Silva. And Julio Cesar safely clear, the Brazilian goalkeeper whose penalty save in the semi-final against Uruguay turned out to be of such consequence. Foul on Fred, hurriedly taken free kick. Holt looks to get in, but the referee has pulled it back. To the consternation of 70,000 in the ground and the mild irritation of the Zenit St. Petersburg striker, who has yet to score in this competition. The only one of Brazil's front line of whom that can be said. Luis. Hulk. Faced by Jordi Alba. Found a way to Oscar. And then Holt played it in, and Fred got up, and Neymar got a bit of it, and they turn it home! And Brazil lead in next to no time! It's that man again! Just can't help himself! If Neymar don't get you, Fred sure will. Holt wriggled, Oscar assisted, and when Holt delivered, it was either one of two. Neymar couldn't get there, Holt flung a leg at it, and Fred turned it home. A little bit of good fortune, then some liveliness of mind, and in a minute and a half, Fred has Scolari smiling. Two against Italy, one in the semi-final against Uruguay, and now inside 2 minutes, the opening goal of the 2013 Confederations Cup Final. And the world champions have a game to chase. Mata, Jordi Alba. Ramos, Torres, Mata. There has been no time for their regular rhythmic passing to settle yet, Spain. Piqué hit it long, and Torres let it get away. Hulk's delivery was delicious. Neymar had a little bit of it. Hulk had a great chunk more, and from a prone position, lifted it beyond Casillas. Holt believes it should be his, not so. Marcelo. Neymar. Away from Piqué. In by Neymar. Casillas can let it go. And so can Jordi Alba. It's the first time in the competition that Spain have trailed. Brazil are yet to fall behind. Brazil winners of this competition in Frankfurt in 2005, in Johannesburg in 2009, looking for 3 in a row against a Spanish team which is 26 games unbeaten. Ramos. Mata. Free kick Spain. The din is deafening. Really cannot hear yourself think here. Ramos. Pedro. Iniesta. Busquets. Pedro, made by Thiago Silva. Forward again by Iniesta, and then Xavi, touch from Torres. Alba's gone outside, Mata's played it in, it almost came to Pedro. David Luiz got rid. Fred. Piqué got across. Pedro. Suggestion that the ball struck Marcelo on the hand, and so it did. Certainly the point that Pedro was making. But, the Brazilian defender did have his hand down by his side. It would have been hard to punish him for that. Luis Gustavo. Neymar. Oh, it's a lovely touch for Oscar! Could very easily have been 2. Oscar hasn't scored for Brazil since the last game before the tournament against France on June the 9th. Delightful idea, super invention from Fred. And he pulled it a foot wide. Marcelo, caught by Torres, who's accusing him of taking a deliberate tumble. Marcelo is indignant at that accusation. Paul Kuipers has to take a fairly firm view. There was a little bit of contact. Torres claims simply that he was retreating reasonably enough. Luis. Hulk. An unaccustomed position for Vicente Del Bosque to find himself in. Spain, for the record, by the way, going into this final, are also at the top of the Fair Play League. Hot-headedness might be something that they want to keep in check, but it is well down there, priority list now that they trail in the final. Third in the Confederation Cup in 2009, surprisingly beaten in the semi-final by the USA in South Africa. It's the one competition they have never won, and the one trophy they don't currently hold. Iniesta. From Luis Gustavo. Oscar. Alves. Thiago Silva. Luis Gustavo between the two centre-backs. Luis with Marcelo outside of him. Now from Pedro. And in the event, finding only his clubmate Iker Casillas. Silva, Oscar, in went Hulk, dabbed away towards Pedro. Certainly, by the way, that goal scored by Fred inside 2 minutes was the quickest ever in Confederations Cup Final. Not quite the quickest, I don't think. It will require confirmation. Not quite the quickest even of this tournament, because Abel Hernandez scored very swiftly for Uruguay against Tahiti in the group stage. Marcelo's throw. Neymar. Tackle from Busquets. Tackle from Oscar. All the way through for Paulinho. Match winner in the semi-final, and Paulinho's won it again and had a go, and Casillas retreats in the nick of time. Really growing into his Brazilian shirt, Paulinho. Forceful and increasingly confident on the ball. Scored some big goals. Xavi, Pedro. Juan Mata. Arbeloa. Piqué. Iniesta. Neatly done by Hulk. Lost again by Alves. Slipped through by Iniesta. Torres waiting in the middle. Fernando Torres got a piece of it. Xavi. Too much for Torres. Away by Silva. Neymar couldn't hold it up. Iniesta. Mata. Determined, gutsy block from Hulk. May not be contributing goals to the cause right now, but even in a defensive position, he's giving plenty to the team. Mourinho with a lovely thought, and Casillas had a heart-in-mouth moment. Adjusted okay. Xavi. Iniesta. Out for Hulk. Taken up by Marcelo. Now Neymar was checked near halfway there. And John Kuipers is going to have to take a view. It's just a yellow card. What follows may prompt a few further yellow cards. Certainly some angry individuals in some yellow shirts. Dutch official simply has to decide whether this was the denial of a clear goal-scoring opportunity. From that far out, you'd have to say Neymar still had plenty more to do. There's no certainty he would have gathered the ball in. I think a yellow card for Arbeloa is probably the right penalty. And under the circumstances, he's happy to take. They'll meet again in the next European club season. That'll be Barcelona against Real Madrid. By Luis. Out as far as Neymar. Routed clear by Busquets. Torres alone on the halfway line from a Spanish perspective. And plenty joining him now. Xavi, Iniesta, Mata. And it's calmly dealt with by Luis Gustavo. Fred has gone over in some pain. With Ramos. Neither meant anything by it, but each cracked a knee on the other. Confirmation of the yellow card for Arbeloa. Previous meetings between these two great football nations. Brazil have won 4 of them, Spain 2, there have been 2 draws. Last met in Vigo in 1999, and drew 0-0. Last met in this country, in Salvador, in 1981. Brazil won that 1-0. Iniesta. Busquets, Piqué. Busquets, oh, it's a lovely pass. Mata. It's not quite so precise. Last competitive meeting was in Guadalajara, Mexico on the 1st of June 1986 in a World Cup group game which Brazil won by a Socrates goal to 0. Both Spain and Brazil went through from the group stage, and they both lost their quarter-finals on penalty shootouts. Perhaps their most famous meeting ever was here in the Maracanã, in the final group of the 1950 World Cup. Brazil beat Spain by 6-1. Xavi. Iniesta. Mata. Iniesta. Torres. Alba. Iniesta. Xavi. Torres. Iniesta! Julio Cesar flung himself down. Turned it behind for a corner. Xavi will take. Xavi's delivery, and Torres with the off-target header. Currently leading the race for the golden shoe, Fernando Torres, with 5 goals in the competition. Fred strike here takes him onto Torres' shoulder. He's up to 4 now. In the event that they are level on goals scored, it is decided by assists. They have one each of those. Iniesta's go for goal. Probably just about swinging wide, but Julio Cesar was taking no chances. Pedro. He's possessed by Paulinho. Here's Marcelo. Luis. Pleading innocence. As indeed was Oscar after that challenge on Busquets. And it's a free kick for Spain. Iniesta. Xavi. Ramos. Seen by Silva. Away for Oscar. Hulk. Neymar climbing with Arbeloa. There's Torres. Mata went on beyond him. Silva got a foot in. Iniesta took it back. Pedro. Xavi. Iniesta. There's Gustavo with a foul. And nearly a quarter of the game gone, and Spain labouring to get a foothold in the contest. Feeling right now what they are, a long, long way from home. Glowered at by 70,000 plus in the Maracanã and feeling the heat. Let's have a pop. It's speculative and a fair way off beam. It has turned into for Fred after his failure to score in the first 2 games against Japan and Mexico. There was some suggesting that perhaps his place was vulnerable, but to his credit, Scolari stuck with the number 9, and now he has contributed 4 goals. Free kick against Alves. Spain quickly on with it. Mata. Iniesta. Alba. Ramos. It's a very fine work ethic about the Brazilian team in the first part of this game. May not be the most talented Brazilian team there has ever been, but in front of their own supporters here, they're more than making up for that with a genuine determination. Here's Fred. That across the face. Now right in the face of the Spaniards. Allowing them the space, the room to breathe, on which they thrive. And when they have the ball, Brazil to penetrate with force. Pedro. Iniesta. Back from Alba, fed it towards Torres, who was squeezed between Marcelo and David Luiz. Interesting night for him, playing directly up against his clubmate, two Chelsea men from the English Premier League. So Marcelo, who went shoulder to shoulder with him, and Luiz, who hurdled over him. Men together. Luiz contributed 7 goals for Chelsea last year, and Fernando Torres, in a season who was much criticised for his occasional or frequent failure in front of goal, scored 22. Fred. In goes Hulk, over goes Hulk. The referee had a very good view of it and saw nothing wrong with the Ramos challenge. Luiz. Up by Piqué. Busquets, Ramos. In from Piqué, calmly so. Iniesta, really secure in possession. There's a tetchiness about the occasion. Understand Iniesta's tetchiness in the way that Oscar was nibbling at him. Arbeloa. He's around behind Pedro. And Pedro again. Busquets, Iniesta, slaloming run, Pedro, Iniesta, Arbeloa, gifted back to Fred, so Fred in turn has represented it to Alba. Xavi. Alves, Hulk. And still, Oscar outside of him, Neymar inside of him. Hulk has played it for Oscar, who is caught from behind by Ramos as he was about to penetrate the penalty area. And the suggestion from the Brazilians again is that the card might have been red. It's not, it's yellow. And again, Oscar still had a fair bit to do before you could really say it was a clear goal-scoring opportunity. Listen, he had a chance, he had a good chance. He almost terminated that chance. And becomes the second Spanish defender to go into Bjorn Kuiper's book. And the second that Luis Felipe Scolari believes might have been sent off. Brazilian cue at a moment like this is generally a sizable one. For quality and quantity over a dead ball, they are well stocked. Remember Neymar's beauty against Italy. He might get to the front of the queue. It lent itself also to Hulk's left boot. He's due a goal. Hulk or Neymar. 4, now 5 in the Spanish wall. 1,000 flashes go off in the crowd, wanting this to be a moment to capture. Hulk! Belts it a fair way over. start to the season for Brazil, did Holt. Scored 3 goals in the autumn friendly internationals, but he's now into his 10th international game without a goal. Good moment for Marcelo. Pedro attempting to make him pay. Paulinho tackling back, and in front of the referee's assistant committing a foul. Decision that given after consultation with his assistant by Bjorn Kuipers. Paulinho the guilty party, in by Xavi. Ramos kept it alive and drew another challenge, this time from Thiago Silva. Xavi again to take. Torres on the goalkeeper's toes. Ramos and Busquets also in the 6-yard box with Piqué. And all they get is a corner. Xavi played it in. Piqué was about to attack it. Fred headed it away. Holt kept it moving forward. Ramos, Alba, given away to Hulk, shifted forward hurriedly for Neymar, Fred through the middle, Oscar getting up there too, Hulk also, it's played in for Fred, Casillas blocks, and Brazil must settle for a corner. Big chance. You can afford to smile because most of them are going in right now. But there aren't many who enjoy the luxury of a 2-goal cushion against Spain, and that might have been Brazil's luxury. Referee arbitrating between Paulinho and Busquets. Paulinho, we know, a threat from the set piece, as he showed in the semi-final. In by Neymar, and wide again from Fred, who just comes alive in the penalty area. Not pretty, not archetypally Brazilian in the way we imagine their footballers down the years. But Scolari believes in him. A belief frequently repaid, although on that occasion his instinct for finding the net was deleted by Casillas' speed off the line. Neymar. Ramos caught on it. Illegally by Neymar. Since they last played in Rio, Brazil have played 5-1-5 on a nationwide tour to Porto Alegre, Brasilia, Fortaleza, Salvador and Belo Horizonte. Actually, the last place they failed to win a game was here against England at the start of the month. Brazil drew their last game in the Maracanã. Spain won their last game in the Maracanã 10-0. The position rather different. Given early by Thiago Silva. Holt's interested. Turned into a wonderful ball from the centre-half and captain. So they want to profit from Holt's chase. Xavi. Mata. Xavi. Pedro. On by Xavi. Iniesta. Jordi Alba. Excellent block, Thiago Silva. And see how pumped up he was by it. There is a visible need in the Brazilian team to win this. Desire is extreme. And their tackles underscore deep desire. Luis Gustavo, the latest to go in ruggedly and be penalised. In by Xavi, got Fred. Paulinho, it's a little awkward for Hulk. Came to Busquets. Piqué. Mata. Well, he had a pop. Luis Gustavo got rid, and now Neymar can run for the hills. So clever on the ball. Arbeloa lent into him, and his challenge was deemed okay. Neymar's wasn't. A worrying moment that for Arbeloa, on a yellow card as he is. Piqué. With just more than 40% of possession, Spain nearly 60%. Suffered an early shock, the Spanish. They haven't been as fluid as generally they can be. Brazil have been dogged, but Spain have still had plenty of the ball. Perhaps not as much as they're used to having. And this goes over Pedro. With the free kick. Has a sizable height advantage over Jordi Alba, which is what makes that long diagonal an attractive ball from Brazil's point of view. Mata, Iniesta, a return pass from Juan Mata. Marcelo, Paulinho, Luis Gustavo, Thiago Silva. Reached Hulk, and last off him. Torres. Followed back by Thiago Silva of Paris Saint-Germain. Born in Rio. Too much on it for Alba. These raids down that left-hand side have become a fundamental part of what they do. All scored in a minute and a half from a lying position by Fred. He now has 4 in the last 3 games. Got his hand out of the way and got his upper foot through the ball. And he had the best view in the house before joining the many who had the next best view from behind the goal. Luis Gustavo. Neymar wide, Fred through the middle, Marcelo in possession now. Oscar getting up to, Hulk at the back of the penalty area. Neymar's cross blocked by Arbeloa. Luis Gustavo. Alves. Paulinho. Had nowhere to go. Busquets sorted that. Mata. Torres. Mata onside. Pedro alongside. They've taken out Luis. It is Pedro for Spain. What a stop from David Luiz. An heroic piece of defending. How on earth has he kept that out? Pedro had to score. Almost defied physics. And lifted that ball just about vertically up and over the crossbar. There's Xavi's corner. And there is a Torres header onto the roof of the net. Well, this was stunning. Luiz seemed out of the game at that point. And when Pedro went eye to eye with the goalkeeper, Luiz ought to have been out of the game at that point. But from within, a metre or two of his own goal line, he got behind and under the ball and somehow levered it up and over the crossbar. Exceptional. Worth a goal in anyone's money. Luiz is the name which echoes around the Maracanã. That must make a man feel 10 feet tall. Luiz, Fred, Oscar, Gustavo, Hulk wants to take on Alba. Oscar. Nick through for Fred. Fred's cross into the waiting midriff of Hugo Casillas. Avalon. Gifted to Marcelo. Tiptoed through. Took a fall, got no free kick. Busquets' challenge was clean, and Marcelo is a long way from the action now and has a long way to get back. So Luiz has to fill in from that left back, and heroically once more he does. He's the man right now. Xavi. Busquets, Iniesta, Torres, Oscar, Neymar, Oscar. Neymar! Wow! Picture goal from the pin-up boy! He is fabulous! There's no stopping that! Goal. Neymar key to the build-up. Oscar intricate with the pass. Neymar was onside. Picked his spot and belted it in. And at the home of stellar football, there is a goal to set amongst the stars. A nation unites around its new boy hero. That's what Barcelona are getting. That's what Brazil already have. The world champions are 2 behind. There are going to be 2 minutes added on at the end of the first half, which has the Maracanã vibrating at the thrill of it all. Arbeloa has given it away, but has been fouled as Paulinho sought to pounce. What a man he is. A goal in each of the group games. He took a break in the semi-finals, didn't trouble Uruguay, but he's back in the final. Clearly there is no occasion too big for him. And here is a real test of Spain. Under Vicente Del Bosque, there are few, if any, tests that they have failed. But they haven't had to play Brazil in Rio before. It's a whole new ball game. And it will be fascinating to see how they respond. Pedro, away from Marcelo, but the half-time whistle has gone. A half-time roar that says Brazil lead in Rio. They don't just lead, they lead by 2 against the champions of the world. And the second of those 2 is one which anyone privileged to have seen it either in the flesh or on a million television sets around the world will not easily forget. Neymar, the name on everyone's lips, and here is why. Fred scored scrappily early, Neymar scored spectacularly late. And at half-time in the Confederation Cup Final in the Maracanã, it is Brazil 2, Spain 0. Spain last lost a football match in November 2011 to England at Wembley. They come into this on a 26-match unbeaten run, which has included the defence of their European crown. They haven't lost a match in tournament football since the 16th of June 2010, more than 3 years, a 1-0 defeat by Switzerland in the Moses Madiba Stadium in Durban. But here they are, 2 behind, in the face of a yellow storm. Brazil, as a football-watching nation and as a football team, are getting up ahead of steam here, a year out from the big one. It would be premature to say yet that they're ready, as indeed it would be premature yet to say that they've won this. They have a class team against whom still to negotiate 45 minutes of competitive football. But there is a growing sense that they are getting there. It's been said many times before of Brazil, in a sense, what happens between World Cups is all stuff and nonsense, peaking at the right time. So we must hope they're not peaking a shade early. Luis. Piqué. Ramos. He's down area. Oscar. Came back out to Marcelo, who's protected the ball terrifically well there. Oscar. Hulk. Let go by Neymar. It's free! It's Fred again! Sensational. Brazil are running away with it. And not just against anyone. This is Spain they are wiping the floor with. Another gorgeous golden goal. Didn't Marcelo do well? Didn't Oscar protect it well? Wasn't the pass so adept? Didn't Neymar read it well to allow it through to Fred, from whom there was no error? A goal inside the first 2 minutes of the first half. A goal inside the first 2 minutes of the second half from Fred. There's surely no catching them now. Five for the tournament, of which one in the semi-final, two in the final. He's only scored in the big games. And now he's on a hat-trick. Needs one more for the Golden Boot, because level on 5 with Torres. Torres would still win it, due to the fact that he has played less time in scoring those goals. And there is Torres. Iniesta. Iniesta. Well, Spain are going to salvage anything here. They'd better get a hurry on. In by Xavi, out by Thiago Silva. Pedro, Mata, Alba, aimed up at Ramos and touched in by Julio Cesar. Every pass, every touch is worthy of a cheer now. Neymar worrying Piqué, and then slithering, but Marcelo is there to reinforce. Marcelo's cross, here by Ramos. 4 years ago in the Confederation Cup Final, Brazil were 2-0 down at half-time and went on to win it. Trailed to goals from Clint Dempsey and Landon Donovan against the USA in Johannesburg. Turned it round through Luis Fabiano, who got a couple then, and Lucio. This time they had a 2-goal advantage at half-time, and they have built on it. This is sending out the signal to the world that Brazil wanted to send. Both in a broad sense about the togetherness of their troubled nation right now, but in a footballing sense about the progress they are making towards the major tournament next year. Alves. Spain are about to make another change. There's a lot they'd like to change about this match. Moses Navas is actually the only player in the Spanish team who hasn't started any of the games. He finished the last one with the penalty that finally shook off Italy. Juan Mata is the player he replaces. The contribution he has made has always been positive, Jesus Navas. He needs to be mightily positive now. It will be easy to jump to conclusions off the back of this if it does turn out this way, but all the great international teams have had their eras, and times have moved on and times have changed. Here's Azpilicueta. As Brazil peak, maybe there'll be a suggestion that Spain are passing their peak as their great club sides did in the Champions League in Europe. The season just passed, eclipsed by the German juggernauts from Munich and Dortmund, Barcelona and Madrid. Xavi, too soon to write them off yet. Navas. Oh, penalty against Marcelo. A little glimpse for Spain. Marcelo at the back of Jesus Navas. And I don't think Bjorn Kuipers has too much option there. It's hardly a vicious assault, but it's undeniable contact. And Spain maybe have a view of a recovery. Ramos to take, as he did successfully in the semi-final shootout. Sergio Ramos has pulled it wide. Meant to be. Cesar saved one in the semi. No need this time. Even the gods are on the side of Brazil. And Julio Cesar acknowledges as much. Not a goal, simply a goal kick. Well, if that doesn't knock the stuffing out of Spain, then all credit to them. 3-0 behind, thousands of miles from home. And when they had a chance to give themselves just a squeak, they threw it away, offside against Oscar. And extraordinarily, that is the 9th penalty of the Confederations Cup, and 5 of them now have been missed. It was a tight call, actually, against the active player. Missed or saved. Fernando Torres didn't take that one, having missed one himself against Tahiti in rather less stressful circumstances. 9th penalty, that is, of course, excluding shootouts. Is just so alien to Vicente Del Bosque in the context of his career as the Spanish coach. Marcelo, who got away with one. Iniesta trying to drive them on. Well read by Luis. That's a smashing ball through the middle. Neymar caught up by Piqué. These two will be club mates after they get back from holiday. Iniesta, who will also be joining them at the new camp in Barcelona, as indeed will Pedro. Iniesta. Julio Cesar behind it. Ready to become a twice Confederations Cup winner. Brazilian goalkeeper. Only he began the game in the environs of Ellis Park, Johannesburg, 4 years ago in the final. Here goes Hulk. Casillas got some of it, and Alba got some more. There's Piliqueta. Busquets. Torres can't keep the ball on the pitch. More now. Will he, I think, remain on the pitch because Fernando Torres' number is up. He has been replaced. And replaced by David Villa. Navas. It's a corner. Just seeing Fernando Torres depart there. That's reminding you again that he is at the moment at the top of the tree in terms of goal scoring. His 5 goals have him level with Fred. But I think on a countback of minutes played, Torres is currently leading the race to the golden shoe. That is for confirmation. Here is a Spanish corner. Aimed at Piqué. And plucked out by David Villa. Iniesta. Silva, around and behind Pedro. A source of uplift this must be for Scolari. Since this, he will know all things are possible, and it won't be hard to convince his players. Piliqueta. Turning tackle from Fred. And Luis from touch. Sepp Blatter, the president of FIFA, must himself be delighted with the way Brazil as a nation has acquitted itself in this competition. Grounds have been good, attendances have been excellent, and goals have been plentiful. Been 68 goals in the Confederations Cup this year. Previous most in a 16-team competition in this format. 56 in Germany 8 years ago. Taken away from Alba. Moved on by Luis Gustavo. By Luis. There's Marcelo, and Fred, Oscar. Busquets for Xavi. Ramos. Gustavo tight. Xavi. And here's Luis Gustavo again. And part of the German club scene that upset the Spanish at club level. Now part of the Brazilian international scene, upsetting the Spanish internationally. Luis Gustavo must wonder what all this Spanish fuss is about. Iniesta. Pedro. Villa. Xavi. All the way by Alves. Oscar. Alves. Paulinho. Marcelo. Lovely exchange. Paulinho. Neymar. Marcelo's in behind. And Fred was waiting for his hat-trick goal. Marcelo hit the side netting. Notwithstanding the Marcelo error, which led to the penalty, in every direction you look, from a Brazilian perspective, including his, wherever you look, you see a big performance tonight. Front players have penetrated, the passes have passed, the holding midfield players have held with such tenacity. Here is Pedro. Iniesta. Got it back from Villa. Drove it against Silva. Through by Alba. And Julio Cesar is unchallenged. Nice turning on the back of Fred. Nationwide smile from Recife and Fortaleza in the north, all the way down here to Rio. Neymar's the reason why. Looking to play in Hulk. Iniesta got himself out of trouble. Held up by Jesus Navas. Taken back by Oscar. Now Marcelo. Nicked away from Fred. And Spain can look to counter again with 25 minutes to score 3 goals. If anyone can, they can. Iniesta. Pedro. Here couldn't get a toe on it. Alves. Lifted forward for Oscar, well read by Casillas. And then very well taken by Pedro. Found that his back by Alves, also of Barcelona. Xavi. Jesus Navas. It's going nowhere. Those piercing blue eyes hidden beneath a frown. Marcelo, the happiest man, Sergio Ramos, made himself the most disenchanted inside the Maracanã. You'll do well to find a quiet street in Rio this evening. The only regret they'll have here is that it's a year early. The question they'll have is, can they do it all again? when everyone's here. Xavi. Ramos. Villa. Ramos. Pedro. Alba. Here from Thiago Silva, nicely done by Fred. Here goes Neymar, they've 2-on-2 here. Neymar running at Piqué. And Piqué has brought him to ground. And Bjorn Kuipers goes to his pocket, and the card is red. The first straight red card of the Confederations Cup appears as the final reaches its final quarter. Neymar had him in retreat. The ball was gone. The player couldn't. Piqué had little option but to execute the trip. And if Bjorn Kuipers assumed that Neymar was going on to score from there, and there was no one bar the keeper between him and goal, then the red was likely to appear. Spain 3 goals down and 1 man down. And his other half, Shakira, has a face that tells the story. Forgettable. For Spain, utterly forgettable. And the sooner the better. Just not themselves tonight. And vulnerable here to further punishment. Neymar orchestrating. Luis behind the ball. And if he catches it right, it travels. Now the most famous face in football. Neymar ripples the net, but from the outside. His contribution has lit this thing up. Amongst all of us, our national partisanship, our favourites, country in our hearts. There are a few who argue that when the Brazilian national team is in good health, world football feels as though it's in good health. Everyone wants Brazil to be good. Perhaps even Argentina feel that way, and Uruguay, who they beat in the semi-final. Nobody wants to bury Spain yet, not this excellent team. Just now, let's wins them a corner. They're going to take some digging out from this predicament. Xavi's corner. Luis with a good strong header out. Iniesta. Villa. And wide again from Ramos. Same sort of range as the penalty. Same sort of outcome. It's the end of the competition for Hulk. Competition that he personally ends without a goal, which be a mild source of concern to him. But facile though it may seem to say, his contribution in a sense is illustrated by his name. He is a big, big presence. He's someone you wouldn't want to argue with. He's someone that Brazil like to have on their side. Not one for riling. He doesn't often turn green, but you get the point. Defensively, he has often been very good. And his replacement is little Jadson from Sao Paulo. Against Alves. Jadson's first involvement in the competition as it heads into its last 20 minutes or so. Navas. Iniesta. Taken away by Paulinho for Neymar. He's gone to ground again. Pedro is the accused. Incidentally, Busquets has gone in at centre-back for PK in the Spanish formation. There's the challenge by Pedro on Neymar. Fairly natural switch for them, for him. I don't know how those two will get on where they're playing in the same team. Silva. Marcelo. He's in a hurry to take the throw. And Spain trying to convince themselves that they still believe. Nonsense to suggest they'll never want to come back to Rio. They want to be here in the World Cup final next year, but typically their history here hardly invites them back. 2 trips, they lost 6-1 here in 1950, and here they are 3-0 behind. Luis away from in front of Navas. Nicked on by Oscar. Here's that boy again, Neymar. Marcelo. Jadson. Alves. Luis Gustavo. And Brazil now can do to Spain what Spain have done to so many others over the last 5 years. Just deprive them of the ball. Alves. Fred. And it wouldn't sit for Paulinho. Still never satisfied. That's why he reached the very top. The very best never are satisfied. That is a man whose team lead the world champions 3-0. Somebody's not doing as they're told. Neymar. Space for Alves. Jadson's gone ahead of him. That is offside. Good call by the Dutch assistant. Wherever you're watching this, you are getting some sort of flavour of the crowd reaction to what they're seeing. Certainly you can't see anybody seated. The singing, the dancing, the clapping, the festival spirit summarises Brazilian football. And here is Neymar, all by himself, away from two of them, but not the third. It's a fine covering tackle from Aspilicueta. Villa. Thiago Silva class. He's one of those defenders who, at his strolling best, appears untroubled by virtually anything. Look at his back there by Navas. Protected by Aspilicueta. Silva. 12 minutes to go. Alves. I would say, by way of caution for Brazil, is that the winners of the Confederations Cup have never gone on the following year to win the World Cup. Neymar, Fred. Needn't trouble them for now. Really a historical quirk or precedent. There will be no hat-trick for Fred. Two will satisfy him surely. The first came inside 2 minutes of the first half, and the second immaculately finished 2 minutes inside the beginning of the second. He and Neymar have made themselves quite a partnership. Love is a four-letter word, and they feel it for F-R-E-D. Adios, but he'll be back. We all will. His replacement is a two-letter word. And in terms of goals per minutes played in this tournament, Joe is right up there. A total of 17 minutes involvement in the first two games, and he scored in stoppage time of them both. He gets a goal every 9.5 minutes he plays at the Confederations Cup. We'll see. Villa. Pedro. Good save, Julio Cesar. Sprightly and firm-wristed. His contribution to the whole campaign is not to be underestimated. Certainly his most significant moment, the repelling of that Forlan penalty. No Horizonte. Xavi's outswinger, Ramos attacking it. Goal kick given. Just creeping in. Far post, but Julio Cesar had his angles right. In England, the suggestions are that next season he will be playing for Arsenal, one of the great clubs of London. Having finished last season with Queen's Park Rangers, another London club, which was relegated. That is news still to be confirmed. What is practically confirmed is that Spain are on the point of suffering their worst defeat in the reign of Vicente del Bosque. Despite having had more of the ball than Brazil. If you watched the game, you won't have felt it was that way. Those numbers simply don't look as though they tell the story. Marcelo. Judson. Joe. Neymar inside of him. Joe's had a pop. Casillas got in the way, and Ramos tried to get out of the corner, and with some good fortune, ultimately did. It's extraordinary what an affection Brazil have built for this competition, a competition they're about to win for the third time running. This is going to be their 12th consecutive match victory in the Confederations Cup, a run that stretches back to Germany in 2005 when they lost the group game to Mexico but still progressed. Drew the following game against Japan, so it's 13 unbeaten in all in the Confederations Cup. And this will be their 6th consecutive win. Alves. Joe one way, Marcelo the other. Neymar between them. Oh, I think anticipated a whistle or a flag, and it wasn't forthcoming. Options in either direction, but chose to go himself. Self-indulgence at this stage, perhaps forgivable. Xavi. Navas. Equator good enough to win a corner from Marcelo. He has a glance up to the big scoreboard, sees himself and a clock that indicates 5 minutes to go, and a public that indicates its grand satisfaction. Hernandez of Lazio Rome about to join us. Joe clears the corner. Oscar holds it up. Alves emerges with it. Neymar. Mourinho fouled by Villa. Thiago Silva will have his hands on the trophy soon. Neymar. Cut off just a little bit more than he could chew that time. Navas. Sweet feet from him. Villa pulling away. Navas has found him with an excellent pass. David Villa. Excellent save, Julio Cesar. He can do no wrong. Spain's last major international final against Italy a year ago in Kiev. The world watched and wondered how comprehensively they beat Italy. And now a year on, they have been comprehensively beaten. Seeking a goal now to put a little gloss on a horrid scoreline. Change for Brazil. Aside from tonight's starting 11, the only player who had previously begun a match at this year's Confederations Cup was Hernandez, who is in effect Paulinho's understudy. And so it proves again. This guy's really looked the part. Even the flashiest teams need a Paulinho, an enforcer, and he has certainly enforced. Excellent impact from the Corinthians player. A couple of big goals. Xavi. Jesus Navas. Cesar comes and clutches again. Jadson. Joe. Hernandez. Scooped wide for Alves. 90 seconds of 90 minutes still to play. Stoppage time beyond that would feel like an indulgence. Not much is going to alter now. Hernandez, Jadson, perhaps time for just one more. Jadson, Neymar, they're playing beach football now. Pedro. Spain at their best are well capable of something similar, but Brazil haven't let them be at their best tonight. Not just that the world champions have been off colour, they haven't been allowed even to come close to emulating their regular selves. And now the colour is around the periphery of the pitch. Never mind the strolling, rolling football that is playing out for time fulfillment inside the Maracanã now. They are starting to think about dream fulfillment. What if a year and 2 weeks and 2 minutes from now Brazil were doing something similar and seeing out time to more World Cup glory. Even those who haven't kicked a ball are part of this. It does seem that Scolari has just about made his selections already. He barely changes the 11, he's stuck with his 23. It is they who may have to contemplate change. It's been said of Scolari that what he does at these tournaments is build a family, and that is certainly how it looks. Brazil are playing happy families here. Alves, time to crown the night perhaps, if they are so inclined. Oscar. Hernandez. Hernandez, one more free kick, which is no great event. Brazil again. 3 times in a row winners of the Confederation Cup, and this time at home in Rio. They have lured the world champions to the Maracanã, and they have conquered them here. It will be a party without limits on the streets of Rio tonight, and after after tonight, there will be no limits on Brazilian expectation. Fred, the scoring hero. Luis, tonight, a defensive rock. Prayers of thanksgiving offered up, and arms of celebration thrown high as well. Spain are beaten at last. Finally, the untouchables have been caught, and the one trophy which they've never had eludes them once more. It stays with these guys. A year before the big one, they have hit the winning habit. They have beaten the best, and Brazil now are ready to be the best. Tonight, they were excellent. Spain simply weren't Spain. It has been a terrific competition. The wind in its wings has been provided by the hosts, who have celebrated football with a smile, and now, as a nation, can celebrate the deeds of their team. Brazil are ready, be in no doubt.